Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV, whoever you are, wherever you are. It is Wednesday, and that means it's Champions League day. And this is the toughest one of the eight. We knew this was going to be the toughest one, and this is the toughest one. Paris Saint-Germain are the champions of Europe. I know we say we are, we're really not. The champions of Europe, Paris Saint-Germain, in their own backyard. And I'll be honest, for me, I think this is one of those that when you looked at the fixtures at the beginning of the season, Stanley, calm down. When you looked at the fixtures at the beginning of the season, I think we all said, yeah, we're not going to get anything there. However, stranger things have happened in football. And Stranger Things, by the way, is back soon. For anyone that likes Stranger Things, it is back at the end of this month, right? Isn't it back in like a week or something? I don't know. Guys, girls. I know it's been all drama. I've stopped watching a lot of YouTube channels. I've left every Spurs WhatsApp group because the drama is just too much. I've got grown men messaging me going, oh my God, have you seen this press conference? Yeah, sure. Oh, we want instant fixes. All right. Okay. Look, we're going to be talking about it. It's tonight. Is it, Ash? Is it tonight? Okay, it's tonight. There you go. By the way, guys, just to let you know immediately, I will not be, we will have a watch along live on my channel tonight. I will not be on it. I am actually going to an awards do in the corporate world tonight. Stanley, shush. I'm going to an awards do tonight in London. So I won't be doing the watch along, but Perchy and his better half Susie are going to give you a watch along, and they're going to do it in a kind of goggle box style. So it should be good fun. Listen, it is what it is, right? Spurs are struggling at the moment. You would say that. Listen, I am one of these people that is not losing my mind. I think everyone is very angry at the result, yes. But I think people keep asking me why I'm not more disappointed. Why am I not angry? Why am I not frank out? All of these different things. And as I've said, at some stage, sorry, I've got something in my eye. Or something's on my hat. I can feel like, you know, when you can see something in the periphery. I said at some stage, Spurs are going, they are going to have to go through a real period of pain. And everyone talks about it. Everyone talks about a build, whatever word you want to use, project, process, plan, phase, build, rebuild, whatever word you want to use. Everyone talks about it. When it actually comes to living through that, everyone shits a brick. Nope, it's not brilliant now. Can't see what he's trying to do. Of course you can't. You're 4 months in. Of course you can't see what he's trying to do. Every team selection is being scrutinized. Every interview is being scrutinized. And you know why? Because in his interviews, he doesn't say what makes him popular. He says the truth, and people don't like it. I've had people messaging me going, he's not at Brentford anymore because he's turned around and said, you're going to have this many really good games, this many okay games, and this many bad games. That's the truth. And that's the truth. People don't want to hear it. They want to hear nice things. We can compete with this squad, but that's a lie, isn't it? We can play really good football with this squad, but that's a lie. So that's why I'm calm about this. I'm strapped in for the long run. I know we need time. Whether it's Frank, whether it's another manager, whoever takes this job is in for a huge overhaul. The squad needs an overhaul. The mentality needs an overhaul. The signings that we make need a complete different, fresh approach. And everybody at the moment, dude, listen, I don't care. I mean, listen, Tobes is one of my mates, but sure, Tobes said that he wants the manager out. I don't know what you want me to do with that information. Tobes is more than entitled to his opinion. I just think it's absolutely crazy when we are 12 games into a new project to say that. Again, people like this, it's not a cop-out. I've said, if anybody listened to what I said, right, all summer, this is not a quick fix. I think this squad is painfully average. I don't know how long I can say this for. Right? If we want to talk about one-off games, that is indefensible, of course. But people can't, someone like this hasn't got the ability to decompartmentalize conversations. If we are looking at this game, unacceptable. If we are looking at the bigger picture at Tottenham as to what we've created over the years and what we need to come out of that, the other side, that is a different conversation, right? That is a very different conversation. Now, I don't mind as I said, if anyone wants him out, that's fine. But we have been so poorly managed as a club. I don't mean the manager. I mean as a club for years and years and years. And whoever gets it, listen, as I said, Frank was to go today and people go, oh, I want Glasner. Brilliant. In 12 games' time, people are going to be really annoyed with Glasner. Because you know what? After the initial manager bounce, Glasner's going to realise there's loads of work to do here. And our fans don't seem to want to be up for the fight. And the problem is if at any point we don't go through this period of pain, we're always just going to be like this. We're always just going to be like this. And I know that this is not what people want to hear. But that's the truth. Liverpool had to go through it with Klopp. Spurs went through it. With Pochettino. Now, if you remember, see, this is the thing that makes me like, Stanley, please stop. Stanley, stop. When we went through this with Pochettino, his stats and data was worse than Frank's after the first 12, 15 games. Right? And right at that time, everyone was, oh, Poch isn't the guy, not the man, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But now everyone's going, look at what Poch did. But it took time. He didn't come in and it immediately hit the ground running. And if as fans, we can't stomach, right, a few games where, all right, the XG was shit. I mean, for anyone who cares about XG, the XG was shit. We all know that. We can all agree on that. Stop, Stanley. Stop. Please, mate. Come on. Oh, he's a pain today. And if you compare that to now, what we've actually done so far is better, but it's immediate. And back then, YouTube wasn't a big thing. Back then, it wasn't after. Can you imagine if YouTube had been around, right? Can you imagine if YouTube had been around when Poch took over? When Poch took over, it was horrible. The first 12, 15, 20 games, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. The number of goals scored weren't good. The number of goals conceded wasn't good. The points wasn't good. But some things take time. Now, that's not a guarantee. This is not a guarantee. There is no manager that can come into this football club and we go, I guarantee, that this works. We don't know that. I can't sit here and say I guarantee Frank works or I guarantee Iriola works or Pep or Klopp. No one can. But at some point with somebody, we are going to have to stick. At some point with somebody, we are going to have to stick and we're going to have to go through some bad times. We're going to have to, because this is years and years of neglect. As I said in the summer, last night, I watched bits of Chelsea. I watched Esteval play, right? Esteval is what our fans think Bergvall and Odegaard are. That's a kid where you go, yep, I'll get him straight in the 11. But that at the moment, we're having to play these players because we didn't buy properly. Now, Frank's got to do his side. Frank's got to spend these next 3 to 6 months of this season figuring out what works, what doesn't. He said it yesterday, and I actually quite like what he said. He turned around and they asked him, didn't they? He said, they said to him, Spurs, right? Spurs have had 6 managers in 6 years. Do they need to stick with one manager? And Frank said yes. Frank said, I know how to build a club. I need time. And that's what I wanted to hear. I need time. And yeah, he does. Because whether it's him, as I said, whether it's Iriola, whether it's Glasner, whether it's whichever one we have in the hot seat, they're going to be mimicking each other in terms of what they say. I need time. There's been lots of managers before with this, some different philosophies. And the problem is in the summer, all the Spurs fans talk a good game about a build. We need a build. We need time. But 12 games in, it's now I've seen enough. I don't get that. I just don't get that. If we get to the end of the year and we're not evolving and we're not changing and we're bottom and blah, I get it. But I would love just for a little bit of my Spurs supporting time, not to have to define ourselves as either a manager in or a manager out. I find it's just getting really repetitive and boring. Every single show that I watch and listen to goes into, should we sack the manager? Should we sack the manager? Should we sack the manager? Should we sack? And you're like, sure, sack the manager. Who are you bringing in? Who are you bringing in that's going to give? Because let's be fair, whoever comes in needs to instantly gratify these fans, right? They need to instantly gratify these fans. So the first thing they need to do is come in and play really good football, right? Second of all, they need to come in and win, get loads and loads of points, right? So it's going to be very difficult. Who is that guy that does that? Now, everyone will start saying now, I'm seeing now it's De Zerbi. I love it. Like, it's De Zerbi, it's Iriola, it's Glasner, it's Xavi. And that's fine. But when that new manager comes in, right? When that new manager comes in, all right, Stanley. Right. So when that new manager comes in, right, what are we going to do? When that new manager comes in, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing, aren't we? After 12 games, why aren't we playing really good football? What's the XG? Why aren't we higher up the league table? And what's happening is, right, what's happening is now I'm seeing a lot of people make up a lot of stuff about previous managers. Like there's somebody in the chat right now, just seeing Sam Smith making up. But with Poch, we saw a style of play. For the first 3-4 months, I remember everyone hated it. Right? Hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? I remember in the first 3-4 months, everyone hated it. So this notion now that, oh, well, with Poch, we were playing good football. Well, not for ages. No, we didn't. And this is what I don't get. Spurs fans, they have to lie to suit a narrative, right? So yesterday, I'm hearing from people, right? Yesterday, I'm hearing from people, oh, well, was it Thomas Frank at Brentford? Was it the recruitment team? Hang on. When he went to Brentford, did anyone see where they were? They were like 11th in the chat. They were a mid-table championship team. And now, it's, yeah, but it wasn't Frank. Frank wasn't the reason Brentford was successful for 7 years. Like, how to throw somebody's brilliant work under the bus because you don't like what you've seen in 12 games. It is absolutely amazing. Again, Sam Smith, go and do your homework for the Redknapp era, right? Redknapp started to play some really good football when he brought in some of his own players, right? It took Redknapp a bit of time because he had to move Modric into the middle. He moved Bale to the left. He went and bought in Van der Vaart. He bought in Wanyama. He went and got a goal scorer in Jermaine Defoe. So again, people aren't quite remembering what happened. And again, this is how I know you're not really a Spurs fan. Your answer is from the bottom 10 to the top 4. Now, if anyone would like the actual truth of what happened under Harry Redknapp's era, bottom 10 to top 4, I mean, what does that even mean? That's 6 places, right? What happened was when Harry Redknapp took over, we were bottom, right? That season, right, we didn't finish top 4. The next season, we finished top 4 under Harry Redknapp. And in that next season, he'd had 3 or 4 transfer windows and bought really sensibly. He bought really well, didn't he? Wanyama, Jermaine Defoe, Nico Crancher, right? He started buying really good pros. In that time, he bought players like Scotty Parker, right? So please, this is what I mean. I don't mind if people want to compare, but they've got to get their information right. You can't just pretend that Redknapp turned up and it was amazing immediately. Redknapp did a brilliant job. Redknapp did a brilliant job. Loved him. My favorite Spurs manager of the last 30 years, by the way. Right? But this notion, yeah? Oh, sorry, not Wanyama. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Palacios. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, I'm getting my ears mixed up. Palacios. But this is the thing, right? Pochettino, his stats in the first 12 games are much worse than what we've seen right now. Now, it's not a direct comparison of the two, but it's just that goes to show that sometimes you need a bit of time. Now, that's not to say that every manager clicks in the same game. Some managers from game 1, boom. Some managers from season 1. Some managers, season 1, okay, it is what it is. Season 2, right, been here now a year, got my bearings, got some new players, we go. Problem is, if we don't ever go through that pain, what do we do? Because let me bring something else up, right? And this is where I know that the fans are now screaming for screaming's sake. So the 2 or 3 managers I've heard over the last couple of days, right? First of all, I love this notion that fans are now being this shameless to talk about De Zerbi. When De Zerbi, by the way, I don't mind De Zerbi. When De Zerbi was mentioned in the summer before Frank, no one was going, yeah, I want De Zerbi. They were all going, oh, no, look, no. Now it's De Zerbi, right? Now it's De Zerbi, right? Glasner does not play front-footed football. So when people say we want front-footed attacking football, fine. I like front-footed attacking football, but at least suggest a manager that plays front-footed attacking football, because Glasner is not that guy. Glasner is an excellent coach, right? Glasner sets up in one way. Got no problem with that, by the way. I'm not knocking him, but I'm just trying to state facts because people keep saying really silly things. We want attacking football. Who's your first choice? Glasner. Okay, but Glasner isn't that guy. Never has been. Wasn't at Frankfurt. Isn't at Palace. What he is he's a guy that gets his team bloody well drilled. They play wing backs. He doesn't deviate from wing backs. And what would happen is the moment it doesn't go right for us for 4 or 5 games in wing backs, people will go, why isn't he changing his formation? Why hasn't he adapted? Well, because that's not who he is. So we're going to have exactly the same with any manager. Iriola plays one style of play. His teams concede a lot of goals, and our fans, they all pretend that they want that. We want to see the style of play. He played his style of play. He's playing at Bournemouth right now with our players. We will get ripped apart. We then lose games. We're exactly where we are now. So my point isn't, oh my God, this manager's better than this manager, or this manager's better than that manager. The difference is we're going to go through pain no matter who comes into the football club. And then you get idiots like this that can't actually, there's no excuse. Listen to what I'm saying. When I said yesterday that you were a school child, because you're not listening. I'm not making excuses for any manager. I'm talking about where Spurs are as a club, right? You tell me right now, let's see if this guy's got half a brain cell in his body, right? Who do you want and why? Let's see if this guy, Callum Andrew, can give us a really good explanation, right? Who do you want as manager? Why? What are they going to do immediately that's better? That's all I'll ask. Let's see if I get an answer. Let's see, because lots of people in chat rooms, loads of idiots have got the internet, right? People go, oh, I've got fingers, I can type. Loads of idiots. That's fine. But then when you ask them to break it down, tell me Tell me why. So anyone in the chat, tell me which manager you want and why. Now, in the summer said, I would have liked Iriola. I would have liked Glasner. But I said the same thing. Whoever took over this job, this was going to be a very difficult period for Tottenham Hotspur, right? People don't want the difficulty. Same thing. When you buy a house, right? When you buy a house and you have to go through a rebuild, like my wife and I bought this house and we had to renovate everything. We had literally the whole house has been renovated. I think the only thing that exists now that didn't, I'm just trying to think what was here, is the kitchen cupboards. So everything else, every wall was plastered and all the brand new electrics, brand new wood floor throughout, your brand new bathroom, everything in the kitchen other than the units, a brand new cooker, dishwasher, piping, skirting boards. We had brand new shelves built. Everything was painted. Everything was plastered. Brand new radiators. The whole thing was done. And you know what? It wasn't all done like that. Right? It wasn't all done like that. It took time to get the house to how we want it now. By the way, there's more I want to do, but it took time. And football clubs are a little bit like that. But football fans are not. Football fans go on, renovate my house. What do you mean it's not finished in a week? Like, you know, and I get it, right? I don't know who the right manager is for this club. I don't know what their remit is. I don't know, you know, I don't know what they're going to be backed with. I don't know. But what I do know is if we keep chopping and changing, I just don't know how we're ever going to know. I just don't know how we're ever going to know. Right? So Poch after the World Cup, but regardless, this football is shocking and boring to watch. You're blindly backing him. You're not listening to what I'm saying then. You're not listening to what I'm... Everybody, welcome. Give Callum a round of applause. Right? He says I'm sensitive. I'm not. He can't use his ears. He's so thick, he can't use his ears. Listen to what I'm saying. This isn't about Frank. Listen to what I'm saying. This isn't about Frank. This is about whoever comes in is going to need that time. Because I saw how he built and grew with Brentford over a period of time. Right? Listen, thick idiot. You're an idiot. Listen to what I'm saying. You don't listen and then make up what I've said. As I said, if right now, Callum, come on stream right now and have a chat with me about football. Come on stream right now. I bet you won't. Bet you shit yourself. Right? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not blindly backing Frank. I've sat here and said, I don't know. I don't know that Frank's the guy. No, but it's not an opinion. You're lying about what I've said. I'm not blindly backing him. Listen to the words coming out of my ears, out of my mouth, into your ears. Right? Listen. Right? Listen to what I'm saying. No, that's not why I'm calling an idiot, because he keeps lying. He keeps coming into my YouTube comments and lying as well. Same as this idiot. This guy does it as well. I'll ask them both on. Come on. Stefan and Callum, come onto screen, because this guy does it as well. Right? I love this. These people come into my chat and abuse me, right? In here, in my comment section afterwards. When I call them out, people go, oh, because they've got a different opinion. It's not a different opinion. They're lying about what I've said. They're lying about what I've said. Listen, right? This is not about Ange or Frank or Iriola or Glasner or Conte. This is about Tottenham Hotspur, right? If Thomas Frank goes, Thomas Frank goes. But what are we going to do moving forward? What are we going to do moving forward? If the next manager comes in, I'm not talking about an ESC again. You're not listening to what I'm saying. The idiots won't listen. Idiots don't listen. Don't listen. They just say stupid shit. This guy's always said stupid shit. Just doesn't listen to what I'm saying. Oh my God, you're not listening. Oh my fucking good God. I'm getting rid of him. What an idiot. Right? Hey, what an idiot. Listen to what I'm saying. Everybody right now, let's say right now, I don't need a break of YouTube. I need a break of idiots like you. Come on and talk. It's funny. No real name. Won't show your face. Seen it all before, mate. Been doing this a long time. Idiots like you wouldn't be able to have I bet you can't even string a sentence together. Like that guy who said, "Oh, come on and talk to you." Came on and couldn't string a sentence together. Right? If Spurs sack Frank now, fine. I can't keep saying, fine, sack him. Go for it. Knock yourselves out. Now, right now, here you go. Let me ask every single one of you. 300 of you in the chat. Ready? Right now, all put in the chat, who would you want as next manager? Because I bet you I'm going to get a million different names, right? I bet you. Let's go. Come on, right now. Who do you want as manager? Who would you want right now as manager? This should be fun. Let's let that build up a little bit. Right, let's let it build up a little bit. Come on, people. Where are you? Come on. Who do you want in? Right? Who do you want in? Okay. See, I'm getting now I'm just getting loads of silly things. Like, this is why YouTube's got ridiculous. Come on, man. You're all adults, surely. Let me know right now, if Thomas Frank was sacked in a hypothetical world, who are you bringing in? See, don't be an idiot like this twat. Look, see, I told you, he can't post anything sensible. Right? Who are you bringing in right now? But again, so you don't really know about Brentford. Brentford growing to 11th. Brentford were never in the Premier League. Brentford were a mid-table championship side with a low budget that he got promoted and kept them in the league for 4 seasons. He's kept them in the league every year. So who are we getting in, right? De Zerbi. Okay, cool, De Zerbi. Cool. Frank in. Big up, Jason. De Zerbi. I love the way De Zerbi now in the last 24. I wonder why De Zerbi suddenly become the favourite, right? Simeone. Okay, we want Simeone, another manager that doesn't play front-footed football. Fine, that's cool. I like Simeone, but just trying to get a grasp of what the fans want, because this is my point. All the people that say different things, right? All the people that say different things, right? So what that means immediately, the next manager is at a deficit. Because if they bring in a manager that doesn't play front-footed football, half the fan base loses their mind already. If they bring in a manager that does play front-footed football, the other half of the fan base is going to go, but can we play that style of play? Oh, look, we're getting ripped wide open. So I'm not sure we know right now as a club what we are. And this is a huge issue. Right? This is a huge issue. Xavi. I like Xavi. But again, have we got the players right now that would be able to play how Xavi plays football? I like Xavi, but if Xavi came in with these midfielders, right? If he came in with these midfielders, he wouldn't be able to play the way that his teams play football. So I'm all for Xavi, but you know what will happen? Xavi would come in. You'd have to then go and buy Xavi the players he needs. Funnily enough, same with Frank. Funnily enough, same with Ange. Funnily enough, same with Conte. Funnily enough, yada, yada, yada. So I think we've got to be very, very careful. See, someone, okay, Terzic is, so we've got De Zerbi and Terzic, Glasner, Iriola, Potter. It's absolutely, it's this. It is absolutely this, Lee. Whoever comes in, we're asking them to turn water into wine. For me, the manager has got a lot of work to do. Whoever it is, got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So does the board. So does Paratici and Lang. Because look at the squad they've built. Look at the squad we have put together. Agreed, Perchi. Agreed. This is the problem, Perchi. I don't think we've built a squad for anything. That's my biggest problem. We've built a squad of not really any style. So if you bring in a manager that wants to play in the transition, we haven't really got those players. If you bring in a manager that plays keep ball possession football, we haven't bought those players. Perchi, you and I always talk about this. I look at the midfielders, right? And I go, what is a manager meant to build around with this base of centre mids? What style? I look at the wingers other than Kudus and go, what have we bought? So when people go, oh, you're really mean to Odegaard and to Tell, well, if we want to praise average footballers, don't get on the manager's back. If you want to get on the manager's back, acknowledge, sure, we need better footballers, right? You're a Espanyol manager. You love him, don't you? And this is the problem, Mark, right? Listen, I've got no problem with De Zerbi, Mark. I've got no problem with De Zerbi as a manager. But again, you're right. It floats and changes. Have you noticed last week, every single person said Iriola? I now look in the chat. How many people, when I asked Mark, mentioned Iriola? How many people mentioned Iriola? But last week, he was the only manager, apparently. Was the only manager, apparently, who could do anything. And now this week, I think it's De Zerbi. Okay, cool. So what we're getting at is we move with the times, right? We move with the times. Like, I really like Iriola. I think he's going to be a really good manager moving forward. But the problem with Iriola is everything being thrown at Frank is what you're going to see with Iriola. This is a guy who's not managed a big club before. So when people go, yeah, well, this isn't Brentford, this is Tottenham, won't they be doing the same thing? Aren't they going to do the same thing with Iriola? Oh, well, this isn't Bournemouth. You're not playing once a week. This isn't Bournemouth, mate. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know what people want at this stage. I've never seen the Spurs fan base like we've been moving towards it for years, but now it just feels like we've turned into one of those horrible fan bases that after 12 games are asking for a manager to be sacked. And it's easy to say, right? It's easy to say. It's easy to say now, isn't it? It's the go-to. You'll see my mate Marius always in the chat. Sack him now. It's like, whoa. Fans used to need to take a bit of time to get to that point. But we're there already. Some fans are there already. And I'll ask this. And Ash, bang on. And I love Ash. Ash is someone I can actually have a football conversation with. Ash, you'll admit this. Me and you don't agree on everything when we WhatsApp, but we always have a good chat about it back and forth and put our ideas forward. But you're right. By the way, I've got nothing against Terzic, but Terzic is another one. If Terzic comes in, there are fan bases that didn't like how negative it was. So it's very difficult, isn't it, for whatever manager comes in. I don't think we know what we want. I don't think we know what we want. If we want just all-out gung-ho football, then you should have just kept Ange and you just lose week in, week out. That's fine. That's all right. But surely if you want to build a football club and build some stability in a base, then you're going to have to go through a bit of pain, aren't you? And again, absolutely. Yeah, can we just keep the manager long enough that they can play 11 that they have recruited, promoted? Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I'll say this again because I know people don't listen, right? But again, no one said that. I didn't say, but there's a difference. If we want to have the conversation about what needs to change on the pitch, what we need to adapt to, absolutely, right? Absolutely. But it's the whole, oh, he's got to go. And when you're saying he plays Bentancur and Paulinho, who else has he got? When he plays Sarr, people complain. When he plays Bergval, people complain. Who else has he got? And this is the problem. I'm seeing a lot of people putting problems out there. No one can give a solution as to how we set up, who plays. And the problem is, you know why? Whatever 11 he plays, the overall ability isn't there. Now, where I've got an issue with Thomas Frank and the Spurs players, where I've got the issue with it, where I can't defend what's going on, is where is the fight? Where is the pressing? Where is the fight and the drive? That, for me, that's the unacceptable. Sam, and I can tell again, think about it, mate. Of course he's got to praise his players in interviews. He's their manager. Of course he has. What do you... Again, guys, this is what I mean. The manager now can't do right for doing anything. So if he says nice things about his players, that's the problem. He's praising them. What's he meant to do when he's asked about Odegaard? Come out and go, no, he's crap, I don't want him. Or no, he's bang average. Of course, what do you expect him to do? I'm so confused. Listen, if all of this drama, right? If all of this drama was because we had really good players sitting on the bench not playing, I'm with you. I look at this Spurs squad and I don't know how many years I've said this, guys. I go, meh. Like, meh. It's all right. It's meh. And when I say that, I get told I'm negative. But I've not been proven wrong for years about this squad. I've not been proven wrong for years. Good players, really good players, are consistent, right? And that's why the better teams are normally at the top more often than not, because the better players are consistent. They get consistent results. They give you consistent performances. Spurs have too many players that are average. Now, average players can give you a great game every now and then. Look how we raise our game when we play Man City, for example. The problem is, right? The problem is average players more often than not will play average because they are average. Now, that's not rocket science. And until you buy players that are of a consistent quality and more players in the team that are consistent than not, we're going to see this. We're going to see up and down. Now, that doesn't excuse the XG. I don't know. I don't know what happened in human behavior where talking about one thing meant that you're talking about something else. Doesn't mean that. He's got to sort that out for sure. I don't care about tonight. Tonight for me is almost a free hit. It's almost a free hit because this is one of the best teams in the world. And we're going to talk about that game in a minute. But by the way, this comment, I've got nothing against Glasner, but if Glasner comes in, people will start going, where's the free-flowing football? That's not what Glasner does. So I think it will be interesting. As I said, go on then, sack Frank, bring in Glasner. Let's play the wing-backs under Glasner. And then when we are still pragmatic, people will go, oh, why aren't we playing really good football? Because that's not how that manager plays. There are very few managers that play good football. Good, depending on how you see it. There are very few managers, right? Very few managers. I don't think Aston Villa are great to watch, but they're effective. I don't think Newcastle are great to watch, but they're effective. Who else? Who in the Premier League plays good football that you want to play like? There's a good question. Everyone in the chat, who plays good football that you think, I want to play like them? I don't see many in the Premier League. I think Liverpool are playing an awful brand of football right now. Chelsea are effective. I don't think Chelsea play a really good brand of football. They're very good. They're very strong. They've got a lot of top players. But who Who plays really good football that you think, oh, I want to play like that? And then ask yourself, have we got the players to do that? That's I think a better question. That's the better question for me. Look, it's difficult, right? It's difficult. I know we all want much better immediately. As I said in the summer, I resigned myself to, right, whoever comes in, I said this before Frank came in, whoever it is, can we just have a period of stability? Can we just have a period of calm? And apparently we can't. Apparently we can't have a period. Mm. So again, let me see if I've got any answers to who could he play better? Like when we're talking about the midfield, right? When we're talking about the midfield, which is a big problem in any football team, is the midfield. You look at Newcastle's Tonali, Gomares, and Joe Linton. Quality midfield. Look at Chelsea. Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo Fernandez. Quality. Right? City, Nico Gonzalez, Tijani Reinders, Rodri, quality. Right? Arsenal, Zubamendi, Rice, quality. I look at ours and go, oh, what have we built? What have we built? I don't know. What have we built? Sure, but were they going to criticize two young footballers? See, again, this is the difference between management. You've got to remember, Conte and Jose are very different to what bought in for very different reasons to what Frank's been bought in for. And I know that goes over your head. But to be fair, Sam, the problem is all the comments I see, you seem to be getting our history wrong quite a lot. Quite a lot. Jason. So it's taken some clubs many years, aligned investment, vision and strategy to get where they are. 17 manager. Back, Jason, I can tell you're not a child. I can tell you're a grown man with reasoning. Yes. Fans don't want the aligned investment with the vision, with the strategy. It's right now. Right now. That's the problem. It's why aren't we brilliant right now? Why aren't we amazing right now? Oh my God, right now. Seeing people going, oh, we're 10th in the league, 9th in the league. Cool. But you win at the weekend, you could be 4th. Like it's madness. It's madness. You know, I think we've been a very average football club for years with Son and Kane really papering over every crack. I've said this for ages, right? If you've got top players that get you out of trouble, you can paper over anything. You can paper over anything. If you don't, you can't paper over it. And what we're seeing right now is we don't have the Kane or Son. We don't have those guys that get you 20, 30 goals a season to cover over poor performances. What we're now seeing is average performances without a rescue plan. Other managers, Conte, I didn't like Conte's style of play, but he had Kane and Son. Jose's style of play isn't for everybody. He had Kane and Son. Poch, in the good times and the bad times, he had Kane and Son. Right now, I'm looking at it going, where are those 50-odd goals those two got a season between them? Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? So I think there's a lot of work to do. I think there's so much work to do at Tottenham Hotspur. And I want to see somebody given some time to do it. Now, that doesn't mean, and this is the thing, when I see silly comments all the time, like, silly comments, your manager, I mean, it's ridiculous. Look, whoever the manager is of this club is the manager of the club. We move with it. But I would like to see somebody given some time so that we can say, you had time, it didn't work, thank you, we move on. But I don't want to see a manager get 12 games, and then we go, right, well, that project didn't work. Right, Glasner, step on up. Okay, Glasner, you get 4 months. Oh, it didn't work. All right, who's the next man? I've got drained of that as a football fan. I've got drained of that. So each to their own. I get it. I get why people are frustrated. I do. I'm frustrated at what I'm seeing. Yeah. I'm frustrated at what I'm seeing. But I also don't think that changing the manager is going to change this. Do we believe that if Glasner is in charge, suddenly these midfielders are capable of running games? That the wingers are suddenly really good? That suddenly our strikers can hold the ball up? I don't think it matters. Yeah, Mark, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is where I was at. I would have taken Iriola. I would have taken Glasner. I would have taken Xavi. I would have taken De Zerbi. I like Frank. There's many. I would have taken Marco Silva. There's many people who are good managers. But the problem is, I think a lot of our fans actually think we are a lot better than we are. I think they're a lot better. They think we're a lot better than we are. When we go, it's not Brentford, we're Spurs. What does that mean right now? Look at our squad. Look at our squad. We're Spurs. What does that really mean? Right? It's just, what does it mean? I feel like when I watch a lot of football shows now, I see a lot of off-the-cuff comments that don't really mean a lot. Right? Doesn't really mean a lot, does it? I see people say things like, be brave. Cool. I'll tell you what, let's look at this, right? So tonight, Spurs are brave, which is, it's such a silly term. Spurs are brave against PSG, and PSG then just go and rip us wide open. People will go, oh, see, it's like Ange again. What do you do? Now he's got to figure it out. He's got to figure it out. He's got to figure something. This is what he's got, I'm afraid, until January, until the summer. This is what he's got until our board decides we're going to actually buy proper players. And now I'm hoping that some of you, especially the ones who gave me stick, can see exactly what I was saying in the summer. When I said it was a negligent summer, signing Mawani on the last day of the window, that's not a plan. It's negligence, right? Bringing in Paulinho on loan, right? Good. Love him. Great. Doesn't that leave you more money to go and buy somebody else? Isn't that what you're doing? You're kicking the can down the road of the DM. So here's more funds to go, but we didn't. And that is exactly, you could see it on the day after the transfer window shut. I did a video and said, we haven't done enough. I don't think we've done enough. I think it's an average window. And I got called out and berated. I think we're seeing now what players have we got? Who do you rate? Like who do you watch and go, you are top class? Right? Who's top class? We've bought a lot of weak footballers. We're saying get stuck in, but I think we've got a lot of weak footballers that don't get stuck in. This is the problem. This is why, if you look in the summer, what did Frank want? He wanted powerful players like Rodgers, Eze, Gibbs White, men, physical stature. It's not what we've got. It's not what we've got. I think it's and as a few of those leave, a few more come in. As I've said to any of you for ages, I don't care. Most of these footballers can go. I don't care if it's Bergval, Gray, Sarr, Basuma, Oda, Bertel, Richie, Johnson, Solanke, Porro. I don't care. Most of these players are not good enough for what these fans want. I've got to the point where I realise what the players are and what we're capable of. Right? So I see a lot of throwaway comments, and you can always, there's a lot of throwaway comments, which I think are great. It's great and it's nice, and they're fan comments. They're what fans say. But I'll take this back to the very beginning, to what I've always said. It's the Q word. It's the Q word, quality. Quality. You need quality. If you want to be a top team, you've got to buy quality. It's that simple. Chelsea buy quality. Liverpool buy quality. City and Arsenal buy quality. We do not buy quality. We buy quantity. Short at what he does, yes. I've never said I don't like Glasner. Listen again. I've never said I don't like Glasner. What I'm saying is all those people that want front-footed football, that is not Glasner. Glasner's a very good manager, but that's not his style. So again, this is why I know people don't really know what they want. They say, get me a front-footed manager, and then list managers that aren't front-footed. That's fine. But be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for. Ange had 2 years, didn't he? Ange had 2 years, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. So again, that's not true. It got worse and worse and worse and worse under Ange. Right? If it gets worse and worse and worse over 2 years with Frank, I will say exactly the same thing. But it's been 12 games. It's been 12 games of football. And I agree. I think our front line, this is one of the worst front lines I've ever seen at Spurs. Like, Richarlison got a wonderful goal at the weekend. But watch his play. Spurs can't play through him because he can't hold a ball up. Spurs can't pass into him because he can't control it. Spurs can't play into his chest because he can't bring it down and lay it off. So, again, you've got that. You've got the left wing. You've got the centre mid. I think we need another fullback. I actually think we need 3 midfielders. Do. So, I feel like if we can have a bit of time, sure, because he'd had 3 transfer windows by that time and about 15 new signings, Callum. Think about it. How are we not getting that? This isn't like for like, is it? Callum, I'll ask you this question. Seeing as you're too scared to come on and talk, would you sack Frank right now? Right now, would you sack Frank? Let me just ask that question. As a fan, mate, as I said, I'll say it again. Right? We don't want to go through any pain. We don't want to go through any pain. As I've said, I can't keep saying this because these people won't listen to me, right? If we bring in one of these managers, people are saying, fine. But are we then going to be annoyed after 12 games with that manager as well? Because if this is just a style thing, that will evolve and change over time, right? But if this is a results thing, those other managers aren't going to be getting better results than this. We've had a decent start to the season as far as the Premier League goes. I mean, if you actually look at the Premier League table, I mean, look how tight it is. We're 3 points off fourth, like 3 points off fourth. It's not the end of the world. So I think more of it is about a stylistic thing. I think Spurs finish anywhere between 6th and 8th. I said, depending on how long we stay in Europe, depending on injuries, I think we finish anywhere between 6th and 8th. I said at the beginning of the season, my main again, this isn't true. This is all hot air from someone who wanted the manager who had us top of the table after 10 games, but can accept this. But the difference is what happened after those first 10 games. It just went like that, didn't it? So this isn't about 10 games of football. This is about, are we not? Why is every conversation linked back to Angepostecoglou? Every conversation is linked back to Angepostecoglou. Well, Xavi needs time to settle. Paulinho is a quality destroyer, yes, but he's not a quality footballer that gets on the ball and makes things happen. And Kudus can't do it on his own. Spurs need, you can't say we got 3 quality players. Oh my God, it's amazing. Look at Chelsea, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Villa, Newcastle. They got quality all over the pitch. Time. Again, another throwaway comment. We're saying yes, man. But what do you mean a yes, man? He already came out and told us in the summer that they're not giving me the level of player I want. That's not a yes, man. You saw that he wanted Gibbs White, Eze, Morgan Rogers. This yes, man, again, throwaway comment. I don't care if people are my friend or not. If people use silly throwaway comments like he's a yes man, was Conte a yes man? Was Jose a yes man? He's already told us that. He told us, didn't he? Said they're not aligned with what I want. He told us he's not a yes man. But we're going, oh, we'll see if he's a yes man. I mean, come on. How long are we gonna run our football club like this and just put up with it? Okay, so you want him sacked. Fine. Brilliant. Who are you bringing in? Who are you bringing in right now? Today, right now, who are you bringing in and why? I asked you earlier, I want a reasoned sentence. I know you're struggling to write it, but I want a reasoned sentence. And this is my big issue with the club. No ball player. No ball player. Absolutely. I don't think we've got great wingers other than Kudus. I don't think we've got good strikers. We've not got good midfielders. A lot needs to change. A lot needs to change. Right? But are we gonna, as a fan base, are we gonna shit the bed after every manager's first 12 games? Are we gonna shit the bed after every manager's first 12 games? Agree, Peter. Agreed. This is what this is why I know this sounds almost backwards, Peter, but I almost want to see it. I almost want to see a Glasner come in, and then people will realise, oh yeah, he's also not got the wide men or the strikers to do it. I quite like to see it. I'd quite like to see it, but obviously I don't want the manager sacked. I just think it's ridiculous. Because I wasn't Ange out after 12 games. Again, I've got videos proving the opposite, so that's fine. I can live. I can live live with myself. I've got videos, right, stating after 12 games that I don't want him out, but that he can't do that high line thing again. I've got videos showing it. And I started to really get to Ange out after January, February of his first season, where I saw he wasn't trying anything. That's where I really got annoyed with him, when he wasn't trying anything, when he would just play that high line no matter what. That really frustrated me. Sure. So see what I mean now. So Iraola and Glasner are the answer. So two managers that only play one style of football. What would someone like Sam Smith do, guys? Right? The moment we go on a bad run with one of those managers, they'll be going, why aren't they adapting? Why aren't they trying something different? Right? Why? Why aren't they trying something different? Well, that's not what they do. It's not what they do. There's no positive Frank gimmick. You're not listening, Earl. It doesn't matter who the manager is right now. They're going to need time. I will be like this with the next manager who comes in. If the next manager comes in the next 6 months or whatever, they need time as well. It's not about Thomas Frank. I know people like you can't quite get past that. It's not about it being Thomas Frank. If this was Glasner, if this was Iraola, if this was De Zerbi, they need that time. It's not about Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank, if he's sacked, is a grown man who will get paid well and he'll go on his merry way, and I'll be fine with it. But as a football club, I'm asking, what do we do? Again, see, this guy's just lying. If you keep lying, mate, I will block you. Right? I've got videos showing the contrary to this. Right? So if you keep lying, you'll get blocked. All right? Just stop. You've been invited to come on. You've shit yourself. And now you're continuing to lie in my chat. Dude, this is not a place for nursery kids. All right? Just relax. we are in a position where, see, again, look, just lies. Look, he's been backed by Vinay on the board. He wanted Eze. He wanted Rodgers. He wanted Morgan Gibbs-White. He wanted Savio. He didn't get any of them. He was given Mawani on deadline day. Simmons was not his first choice. Now, I like Simmons, but it wasn't his first choice. So again, we can't just make things up, guys. We've got to stop making things up. But again, this is just made up, isn't it? 12 teams that will finish. But you don't know that. You have no way of knowing that. We don't know what's going to happen in the January window. We don't know what's going to happen maybe when Kulu comes back fit and helps us out attacking wise. Maybe Solanke hits the ground running under him. If that's what people want, they want attacking football with the occasional result, fine. But I'm looking at more, can we build the club? Not can we worry about what my eyes see for 1, 2, 3 months. I'm worried about, can we build the club? And we don't want to let it happen with anybody. I mean, Mateta's not a superstar, is he? I think Mateta's a good player. He's not a superstar. Come on. What are we doing? He's not a superstar. I like Mateta. He's good, but come on. Look. By the way, right, I like Iriola, but I tell you what, his teams don't half concede. His teams concede a lot of goals. A lot of goals. Let's see another lie. Okay, so when Stel and those channels were discussing the ownership at length weekly when we had Conte, Nuno and Ange, why were you not interested back then, but you are now? Ask the question properly. Make the question make sense. Why was I not interested in what? Because again, what you're doing is you're lying. Why was I not interested in what? Please let me know. Again, Sam, you're lying. You're lying. Tell wasn't his. Mawani was the last day of the window, panic loan. You think he wanted to? You think you truly believe that Sakai was a signing? You went, I must have Sakai. Xavi was not his first choice. See, again, you're making things up. You're making things up. I don't mind it if people have got right, information, but people like Sam Smith now just make things up. But I absolutely have given others the same fairness. He's had 12 games. I don't get it. He's had 12 games. None of the other managers other than Nuno had such little game time. What are we doing here? Again, this is just lies. Again, mate, you're going to get blocked. You're going to get blocked, Callum. You're going to get blocked. You're a troll. I've got videos proving otherwise. I showed them last week. I showed the videos. I showed the thumbnails. But people like you, let's block this Callum. He's a fucking idiot. There you go. He's been blocked for good. Just an idiot. Can't deal with him anymore. Look, everyone in September said we needed much more, but now the narrative is the manager is shit. Now we backed him and gave him what he wanted. Mate, it is hilarious. When these people are now saying that the manager got what he wanted, this is just madness. Look, I think if we want to have blame pie to go around, there's plenty of it. Manager, players, directors of football, owners. Of course, there is blame everywhere. But right now, I don't even think this should be a stage of blame. Right now, this should be a stage of, right, can we build and grow? Can we build and grow? That doesn't happen in 4 months. Perchy, we talked about this morning. It's the number of football fans that say things like, I thought he was a coach. Who is he coaching? You're like, people don't understand coaching. They think that in 4 months, he turns somebody into a world beater. It's just ridiculous. It's just mad. Look, so people like this, look, claiming everything after 12 games. People claiming, I told you I was right after 12 games. Sam, but you said he got everyone he wanted. Morgan Gibbs-White, Eze, Rogers, Savio. Why didn't he get any of them if he got everyone he wanted? He was given Kolo Muani on the last day of the window. It's the biggest panic of all panics, isn't it? Exactly, Phil. Phil, I know, mate. I know. It's mad. I'll be honest. What it's done, I think what it's done for me, Phil, I'll be honest, it's made me not love football as much because nowadays you can't support a team without you can't support a team without everybody losing their mind after one window, not really buying what we needed, loads of injuries, playing every 3 days in the Champions League. Like I said at the beginning of the year, didn't I, Phil? I don't think this squad was nowhere near ready to take on Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup. Just nowhere near. Right? Nowhere near. Again, another person who's not listening. It's not about defending the. Oh my! I can't do it. I can't do these people not listening. Right. So you think let's now use this. Right. Let's use this. This is right. Anyone who thinks that Tell was wanted by Frank, then why doesn't he play him? And why did he drop him from the Champions League squad if that's the guy he wants? It's madness. Yeah, but Danny, you always do this, and I send you the link and you never come on. Are you actually going to come on if I send you the link? We're in this era of, say again, look, you're just going to get blocked. Don't know why you need to be rude. Yeah, I'm talking about 12 Premier League games, clearly, aren't I? Clearly talking about Premier League game. I'm just getting rid of that Sam Smith now. He's too much of a child. It's really difficult. I've got so many really good people in my chat that want to have grown-up football chat. And then I've just got loads of idiots that Frank out, that think football works. They think football is a computer game. They think football is a computer game. They think that, oh, I took over Spurs on Football Manager and I turned them into a top team in 4 weeks. It's not how it works in real life. It's not how it works. All I want is a little bit of calm. Do you know what I find really crazy, people? What I find really crazy about this is anybody who's asking for a little bit of calm and just a bit of time is now the one that's seen as the pariah. But everyone go, Frank out, you've seen enough, it's terrible. That seems to be the norm. That's the norm now in football, isn't it? That's the norm. And again, it's another idiot lying. I don't know. I'll debate with people, but not when they say silly things, Carlson. Again, look at this is probably someone at school, 15 years of age, just learned how to type and use a keyboard, right? It's too silly. I disagree with loads of people. I like Sean. Sean and I disagree. So when you only like people who think as you, Sean and I disagree on everything. Sean's one of my mates. Stell's a mate. Me and him disagree on everything. Me and Lubo are friends. We disagree on loads. So again, it's just such a silly thing. Look, we're in a position where the whole club changed in the summer. Said this before, manager, coaching staff, medical staff, director of football, CEO, non-exec director. The whole club changed in the summer. And yet 4 months down the line, everyone's going, yeah, it's not worked. It's not worked. It's not worked. It's 4 months. Can we get to the January window and the next summer and see what we buy? I think what's happened at Tottenham is we have built an average squad, right? There may be many Spurs content creators who want Frank already because it's clickbait. It's the same fans that will go massive Spurs news and there's no news. Like it's clickbait. Of course they do. Before the internet, fans would just go, God, this has been bad. Let's go. This has got to change. And there'd be a bit of time and a bit of grace, and we need some new players. We've got to the stage where this manager has had one window. Bearing in mind, he didn't come into the club until mid-June, right? He comes into the club mid-June. He's had one window, hasn't been given a left winger, hasn't got a ball playing midfielder that he tried to buy with either Rodgers or Gibbs White. Hasn't got a striker and gets Mawani on deadline day when he's not fit. And we're going, get him out. At what point do you turn around? And this is the thing. I asked this yesterday. Imagine you started a new job and after 4 months, your company come to you and go, you got to leave. Why? It's not working. But why? Nothing bad's happened yet. No, you got to leave. Oh, it's mad. It's utterly mad. It's utterly mad. Thoughts on Tobes? I don't know why people keep asking me about Tobes. And again, another good friend of mine, Tobes. He can say what he wants. It's fine. I don't have any agenda. Again, I don't have an agenda. Right? I don't have an agenda. I can say this and 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 say this again, right? Let me just send the link to Danny. And for anyone who wants to know, I'm going to go until 1 p.m. By the way, I'm going until 1 p.m. All right. 1 second, Danny. 1 second, mate. Let me just find this link. I'm going until 1 p.m. Understood? Yeah, I'm just saying it loudly so you can hear it. Look, as I said before, I'll say it loudly at the back. How is it clickbait? I'll tell you what's clickbait is he's just joined. The manager has just joined. Did you like Pochettino? There's a question. Did you like Pochettino? I'll ask people like Marius. Did you like Pochettino? Because Pochettino was worse when he started. But you know what? He had time. He had transfer windows. He built a team. He molded it together. The rest is history. Look, everyone's entitled to their view, but I just think it's very, very knee-jerk and sick that we never actually want to go through a process. Yeah, but see, this is the problem. And by the way, I've met Lily White Lab. He's a nice guy, but I've seen him. Everyone he rates is the Odebergs, the Tells, the Bergvals, and the Archie Grays. Like, I don't know how you can. If we're going to rate players like that, then we've got no hope as a football club. How you doing, Danny?
You're right, Savva.
I'm good, man. What's up with the camera? Why have we got no camera then?
Oh, no camera. I'm busy. I've got a lot of stuff. I'm moving a lot of stuff around in my apartment, so it's a bit messy at the moment.
Oh, fair enough, man. Fair enough. By the way, just quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, just quickly. This is the exact thing. When people say I've got an agenda, I don't. Danny, I think the problem that I have, right, is that people aren't actually listening. This for me isn't about Thomas Frank. And this is what people are not getting, Danny. This is about how the club is run. And I've said, Thomas Frank goes, great. But what about the next guy? Are we going to do this again? Are we going to go, right, you've got 4 months, solve everything, go? Or are we actually at some point going to go, yeah, this might be a bit painful? You know, we've got children like Marius going, oh, I don't like what I'm seeing immediately. Please get rid of him. Not, hey, let's evolve this. Let's get this over time and see how good it can get.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of. I think there's too many fans nowadays are too fickle, right? And they I think so many people have said it in recent weeks, but there's a lot of people that just they want instant gratification, instant dopamine. They want that every single week, watching the team week in, week out. Basically, what fans want to see, right, is they want to see Poch style football, week in, week out, majority of time winning football matches, really competitive, having a great squad. But the problem is, the one thing that they forget is that in order to get that, you need to have good players. It's just as simple as that.
I
And
know, I
I think
know.
this is the what you said what I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, right? Which is why I'm excited to see what happens in the transfer windows coming the next couple of transfer windows, right? Because number one, we don't know how the club's going to act because Levy's not there anymore. Is it going to be same old shit? Or is it going to be actually kind of a little bit of what we saw in the summer, right? Where rather than getting the like Dan was saying in the chat earlier, Archie Grays and Oda Bears and these kind of players, right? We go and get a Morgan Gibbs White. Like if Tottenham go back in for Morgan Gibbs White and go and sign him, that is an absolute steal signing, right? If they in January they go and get a Ruben Neves, right? Now you're talking, right? Because
Yeah.
then you've got a Ruben Neves and a Morgan Gibbs White, right? That's the type of players we need in this squad, right? And I use that word quite as a key, which is squad, right? Because the truth is we don't even have a first 11 at the moment. But I was looking at that Chelsea game yesterday, and on their bench they had quality on their bench as well. It's unbelievable the amount of quality they've got.
But
It was
do you know the thing is as well, Danny,
unbelievable.
with that? Danny,
Yeah,
the
go on.
thing is as well with that, right? Is when I watch Chelsea and I watch Esteval, right?
Yeah, he's class.
Esteval is what our fans talk about with Odeber and Bergval,
Yeah,
right? That is how our fans talk. That's a young player. You go, yeah, quality, get him in.
yeah.
We sign
And
Bergval, we sign Tells, we sign Odebers. You know, it's the difference is huge between what
and
they're buying and what we're buying.
it's true, right? And the thing is, right, Esteval is a young kid, but it is kind of like it's like that. It's like what they say, right? If you're good enough, you're young enough. Age is not really a concern, right? But in reality, in real life, players like Esteval are not your everyday cup of tea players, right? They're not players that come around very often. Just like he's at those like levels that I think he's going to get to those levels that Elise is at the moment, the Yamals, those kind of levels, right? That's the way he's going, and he's only what 19 or something like that. Esteval, I think.
Something
He
like
might,
that. But
yeah, he might even be younger. But the thing is, like we players like Odebear, like yes, he's got potential, but again, like I'd like to have Odebear come on, right, as as a substitute or play or do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see a top left winger in on the left for Spurs, whoever that's going to be. There's a lot out there, but then if you like we did against Man United, right? If you bring on an Odebear, he can change a game. He can change a game, but when you have to start him when he's not at that level that we need him to be at right this minute, it's hard. And I'm not saying I think Odebear can be a good player for Spurs, but right this minute he's still in that learning phase, right? And we've got too
well,
many.
Danny, the thing is, but Danny, the thing is for me, if I can bring this back to main crux of the problem, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to see better on the pitch. I've not got any doubt about that. We've got to see more fight. We've got to see
Yeah,
it
yeah,
evolve.
definitely.
I've never said the contrary. I think the problem is because I'm not Frank out, people go, you're excusing the manager. I'm not excusing the manager of anything. As I said
Yeah,
in the summer, Danny, I
yeah,
expect this is going to be a season of a lot of ups
yeah,
and also a lot of downs. And I asked the question in the summer, are the Spurs fans going to be mature enough that when things aren't going well, that they can turn around and go, well, yeah, we knew we were in for a bumpy ride. And you know what,
yeah,
Danny? After 4 months, I've seen the answer. We're not. We're not.
yeah.
Everyone wanted to change formation. Everyone wants a change of player. Whatever Frank does, they don't like that, right? I get it. Frank needs to adapt. He needs to evolve. He needs to change. He needs to look in the mirror and look at a lot of things. I'm not doubting that, Danny, in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
But we're getting to the stage where, use Poch, for example, right?
Yeah.
See people going, well, he's just keeping the seat warm for Poch. Let's look at Poch's first 4 months. It was worse than this.
Yeah, it's bad.
It was worse than this. But you know why that wasn't highlighted as much? Because the whole YouTube thing wasn't really around then. Right? People pretending, oh, in the first 4 months of Poch, I could see what we were trying to do. I couldn't. We were shit.
Oh, we were awful,
right?
yeah.
But you know what? Couple of transfer windows, more
Yep.
time training, more coaching. We are at the moment a football. I think, Danny, I've said this. I think we're kind of on the same page, me and you, Danny, with a level of football, all right?
Yeah.
I think we have got a very average squad. I've said this for years. I think a very average squad now that isn't being carried by Kane and Son, neither of them.
Yep.
We've not replaced. We've not bought a goal scorer. We've not bought left wingers.
Nope.
We've not bought physical players. We've not bought a ball player in midfield. We've not bought fullbacks. Both our fullbacks aren't even fullbacks. And we give a manager one window. Mawani comes in as a last resort on the last day of the window. Simmons was like his third or fourth choice playmaker. Doesn't mean I don't like Simmons. Doesn't mean I don't rate him.
Also, because Simmons was going to go to Chelsea for the whole summer.
Right.
So we only got him because he didn't go to Chelsea.
So I've got no problem with people going, yeah, we've got to change, we've got to adapt, of course. But it's this whole notion of this isn't the right man, it's terrible, get him out. Danny, we're going to be sitting here in 3-4 months with the next manager finding a reason. Glasner, for example. Glasner plays one way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Danny, I like Glasner. I like
so
that.
do
I can't say this anymore. I'm not knocking him. I'm not comparing him to Frank. But what will happen is Glasner will be the flavour of the month. Glasner comes into the club, right? Can't play the way he wants to play because he hasn't got the players. Fans will get annoyed, go, oh my God, we've not won for 4 games. Why hasn't Glasner gone to a back 4? Why hasn't he changed the formation? Right? Oh, he can do it at Palace. He can't do it at a bigger club like Spurs. Same with Iriola, but not the back 3 with the way he plays. He plays one way, concedes loads of goals, does it at Bournemouth where they're not playing twice a week. If he comes to Spurs, what we will see, right? What we will see if he comes to Spurs is, different doing it at Bournemouth to Spurs. We're just going to go into this 12-week, 16-week, 20-week cycle. And just got to say, you don't need Kane and Son to play some attacking football. But you've got to have competent attacking footballers to score an attack.
Could you imagine? I know. Do you know what's happening, right? Could you imagine, right, tonight? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but could you imagine if Tottenham won tonight? All the fan base will completely switch again and be like, "Oh my God, Frank's amazing! Oh my, do you know what I mean? That's exactly what's going to happen."
Yeah.
And Dan knows it as well. Go on, Dan. Go on.
That's the thing here, yeah. The thing is at the moment, and the thing it has been for a while here at Spurs, is there's no in between.
Yes.
The only phrase I can use for it is either you're far left or far right. That is how a lot of people look on it, yeah. And that is how a lot of people see it. A lot of people don't want to, shall we say, sit on the fence, be in the middle, see both sides to a story, yeah. The thing is with this, he was always going to have issues because people wanted Ange. A lot of people did not want Frank in and did not rate him good enough. I personally, I was quite happy with him to come in. I didn't think you're going to do any worse than Ange, basically. I couldn't stand Ange's style, but then a lot of people saying that they don't want Frank, he don't play the Spurs way. Well, please do tell me this Spurs way that I don't see.
The 22 losses that way, Dan.
You know what I mean? But I think people are well within their rights to be asking questions at the moment as well. But it just depends on questions on what. He's only had one window.
Yeah.
He's only playing what he's got at the moment. But then people were saying don't use injuries as excuses on Ange. But they seem to be using them as excuses at the moment. This is what people are asking. Not quite my opinion on it, but it's what people are asking.
But the difference is we saw Ange without the injuries as well as with the injuries. We've not seen Frank at any point have his best players available.
I'm just saying what people are asking, basically.
I'm not going to go you.
I agree with. The problem I've got at the minute is if he doesn't get these players to man up tonight and get their shit together and get stuck into this game, as we agreed, you haven't got to be a good player in any means or manner to have willpower and want to get stuck into a game.
Yeah.
If he can't do that tonight, I've got serious questions with Frank, because he couldn't do it for an Arsenal game. He couldn't do it for a Chelsea game. And if you can't get your players hyped up for a London derby with Chelsea or Arsenal, I've got questions with this manager on the mentality side of it.
I just don't think they're good enough or strong enough.
I don't either.
This is the problem for me.
That's not the problem.
Well,
that's not the problem.
Not for you, but I look at the players out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at their mentality. I look at the Bentancurs, right? I look at the Odegaards, right? I look at the Spencers. I look at the Adog. I look at these players, and I think to myself, we've seen it under a number of managers with some of them. I look at it and go, I don't think they've got that built into them. Now, we can say Frank can get it into them, but Odegaard for me is a timid little boy, and he showed it against Arsenal. Every 50. Listen, Dan, we need to see more. I don't disagree with you, mate. You know I don't. We need to see more. But I think that can only take you so far. So, for example, tonight, PSG are going to dominate that football. We can say as much as we like, get stuck in. That's great. But top clubs will tell you, you can't get, when it's playing against teams that just keep the ball, move the ball like that, it's not about getting stuck in. It's about being
disciplined. Savva, we've already seen them have that capability, though. They did it against PSG in the first game. They did it against
that was a PSG that hadn't played football for 2 months. Like,
I don't care. I don't care if they hadn't played football for ages. The players
you
still
might not, but that's not how professional sport works.
But the mentality I'm talking about, not the quality. Yeah, of course they was going to wipe us no matter what, like they will tonight. Yeah, but the players wanted it. The players wanted to get stuck in. Of course they're not good enough. We can, if anyone who thinks this team is good enough, then maybe you need to go watch a bit more. It's not. But on the mentality side of it, we have seen the players have the capability of doing it. But I agree on the side that they seem to be like boys. Like the minute it goes wrong, oh no, they give up, shut up shop, and everything else. I want them to get stuck into a game. But the problem is we've seen them get hyped up for a game. And if the manager, it is the manager's job.
Which game did we see them get hyped up for?
City, they got stuck into it. PSG, the first game.
City, let's be honest, Dan. I know, I agree with what you're saying, right? But let's be honest. City is a team we beat every single year, no matter who our manager is.
Forget whether we beat them every single year or not. I'm talking about the mentality side, not the quality side.
Yeah, but also, but that plays part in the mentality because it's a psychological thing, right? If Tottenham know we have Man City's number, psychologically they're going to feel way more confident because they believe they can actually beat them, right? It's a psychological thing.
But we agreed the other day that you don't even have to be a good player to want to get stuck into a game. Now, I don't think most of these players have got a winning mentality either. Getting stuck in is a figure of speech, yeah? Going out there and wanting to win and being able to win are two totally different things. But going out there and playing with a bit of pride, going out there and getting stuck into a game, yeah? Anybody can do that. Yeah, you're still going to get schooled on the pitch, but you can still go out there and have a bit of pride.
So
like Paulinho did. You can even say in that game against Arsenal, you can even see Richarlison tried getting stuck into the game. So did Adoji. Had two bad games at the time.
With that in them
to win the game. To win the game.
Yes. But the thing is, when you are playing the best, when you know you're playing the best, sometimes you're just outschooled. Now, it doesn't mean you can't show heart and fight. What I saw in that first half was whenever we won the ball, we've just got there's no outlet.
We passed it backwards.
Of course, because we've got no outlets, Dan. This is the problem. We've got no outlets. Hang on. We've got no. I've said this for years. We've got no outlets because we didn't sign any technical footballers. So what we've got is we've got runners in our team. The moment you put a ball onto a runner, that runner has a foot race with the opposition. Use Richie. Richie's a runner as a forward, isn't he? He's not a technical footballer. He's a runner. When Richie would, the ball, we played down the channels with Richie. The moment he lost that battle up against Saliba or Rice or whoever, right, that ball bounces straight back to you. If Spurs do not if we do not, in the next 2-3 windows, go out and buy some actual quality footballers, right? Maddison gets told off all the time, holds on to the ball too long. That's exactly what I want. I want a footballer that goes, you know what, I'm comfortable. Get the ball to my feet. I'll take a few touches. I know what's around me. I'm not scared. But at the moment, we've got runners. Odegaard is not comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's a runner. Tell is a runner. Odegaard is Richie is a runner. Mawani even. Let's be brutally honest. Mawani is someone that wants to run onto the ball. Sarr is a runner. Bergvall is a runner. We have not bought physicality, skill, or technical ability. Now, the only one you could say that might be that guy, but it's a big might, is Simmons as he progresses. But at the moment, for Simmons to thrive, Simmons is going to need players around him that played that way and players that do his physical work for him. To be fair, I think Simmons actually tracks back really well, works hard, but he isn't physically capable of going toe-to-toe with a Declan Rice or a Moises Caicedo. He's not that guy.
We don't have that quality of player. But have you seen a game or two this season? Like I said, my issue isn't with quality. Yeah, my issue is with the mentality. Because I have seen these players put up a fight a couple of times this season.
Yeah, a couple of times, Dan.
A couple of times.
But a couple of times shows you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of
times.
Why
can only do it a couple of times, Dan?
Right. But my point is, why can't he get them hyped up for a Chelsea or Arsenal game?
Because
that has got to be down to the manager as well as the players.
Yeah.
So it's got nothing to do with the manager.
But Dan, can I just say something, Savva? Can I just say something, right?
Every game.
Savva, can I just say something?
Why don't every team compete every game? Because I said before,
Chelsea or Arsenal,
average.
The manager shouldn't have to do it, but it is part of his job.
I agree. I think that game we were going to get schooled whatever happened. My worry was exactly what I said before the game. My worry was Arsenal were going to come out and dominate, and we've got no out. That's my problem. And the more the game goes on, the more belief you lose because you know you've got no out and you're literally waiting for the inevitable, right? If you feel the team, when I watch Aston Villa, right? It says before, Aston Villa can get up for those massive games. They've got men with mentality throughout the team, right? I look through that team and I go, where's that mentality? You've got Romero as a captain who, for me, I thought was awful. Again, Romero switches off in that type of game, right? I've got Jed Spence. Jed Spence, for me, I think the attitude's all wrong from what I can see. It just feels like he's not interested. Odegaard, not about attitude. I think it's about physicality and ability, right? Kudus, for me, I tell you what I hated was I don't know if you guys agree. I keep hearing that Kudus in a wing back system with Thrive in the middle. I think you lose him. I think you lose all of his strengths as a footballer get lost because in the middle, he's relying on people getting him the ball in tight areas in and around midfielders and centre halves. On the right wing, he's up against a fullback. And he's the only one of that physicality in the forward line. None of the others have got any physicality in that forward line.
Well, he's the only one with technical ability as well, Sav.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my point, Danny. So what happens is the ball goes forward, it bounces straight back, and we go, oh, we can't string 3 passes together. Yeah, because none of the boys in our team are footballers. They're all runners. This is what we've created.
But look, to get to the top, to get to the Premier League, surely the players have got to have some sort of mentality in their head to do that in the first place, because you don't just walk into it. You've got to have something to
but Dan,
there, on the mentality side.
League,
hang on a sec, Dan. Hang on. Again, I agree with everything you've said. It hasn't got the quality. But we agreed the other day, it doesn't even take a good player to go out there and get stuck into a game and at least try. They did not do that against Chelsea or Arsenal. They bottled the game before it can begun. Our 2 biggest derbies. And for me, it's down to both. It's down to weak-minded players. And if he can't get it hyped up for tonight, I'm going to say a weak-minded manager. Because it is down
to see tonight, Dan. Like when we're saying hyped up for tonight,
effort,
know.
get stuck into a game. Try.
Yeah, but
At
you
least
keep using
try.
these throwaway sentences like get stuck.
They're not
into
throwaway
a game.
at all. They're not
It
throwaway
is.
at all.
PSG,
No, it's not.
right? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. No coach is going to say get stuck into PSG, right? PSG are technically superior to most teams in the world. They are going to have all the ball. For me, this isn't about getting stuck in. Tonight is about keeping your shape, keeping your responsibility. Yeah. Trying to transition at the right times. Now, the difference is I watched Aston Villa do this last year to Paris Saint-Germain, right? But you know what Aston Villa had? Aston Villa had the players on the counter-attack to really hurt Aston Villa, PSG. So they stuck in. They stuck into their positions, right? Stuck to their positions. They let PSG play, and then when they won it, they were excellent at out-muscling and getting forward quickly with the likes of Morgan Rogers, with the likes of Asensio, with the likes of Rashford, and it worked.
But you just said three players. Those names of those players are far superior to what we have in our front line.
No, but that's my point, Danny. My point is tonight we can keep our formation, we can keep our shape, we can work hard, we can be switched on. The problem is when we win that ball, there's no out balls for Tottenham other than Mohamed Kudus. So what's going to happen is the ball will keep coming back, and then people will go, they're not even trying. I don't think this is so much about not even trying. I genuinely think this is a very average group of footballers. Very
same for me.
Danny, not just ability, mentality,
everything.
physicality, mentality, ability, and physicality. I think we've put together a very weak bunch of footballers in all three of those categories.
I agree. But if I see footballers,
I want to see. Go on.
If I see footballers that don't even want to try, I'm not talking about we've got the quality in that. I know that. It practically try. Are you telling me they tried against Chelsea in any means or manner?
I think against Chelsea, we just looked dreadful. I think against
Arsenal, we just sat back with 11 behind the ball. Was that the manager? Was that the players?
Okay, so tell me what else you would have done. What would you have done?
Yeah.
So Dan, can I just
they didn't even want to try.
But I disagree. I looked at an Arsenal team that from minute one were on it. From minute one,
the first few minutes.
Right? They overpowered us. They completely dominated the ball. They pushed. Like I keep hearing, if you play the wing backs, the fullbacks have got to be higher up. Arsenal were brilliant at it. They pushed our fullbacks back into a back five. They were brilliant at it. Why? Because they had quality to make that happen. For me, again, we've overpraised how good is Adogi as a wing back, how good is Spence, how good is Porro. I just think we are being absolutely schooled by the better teams. I think we're being schooled by them. And I think it's showing again that we are not buying the right players with the right mentality, the right physicality, or the right ability. So we can go on all day long about they've got to show fight, they've got to show it. I agree. I'm not saying they don't. But at the end of the day, but I don't think in the second half we didn't. In the second half, I thought we actually battled quite well. But again,
we didn't. In the second half, Arsenal came out, basically put that in the back of the net within 10 seconds of bloody changing the formation, and sat back and just said, and they got complacent. And they got complacent and said, "Get on with it." Next thing you know, we press a little bit. We get a little bit. Why? Not because we put the bloody effort in, because Arsenal let us. And then we got that goal and Arsenal went, hang on a second. Let's put these boys back in the corner. Bang, job done. Players didn't do nothing. They only done anything because they were let to. It weren't because they even put the bloody effort into it. There was no heart and passion in that game.
You don't know that. That's not fact.
Neither do you. Okay, we're called out opinion. We're both call it an opinion.
Arsenal at will can rip through us. When you look at Eze, Saka, Rice, Zubimendi, Trossard, we said before the game, if they want to, they can rip through teams at will. Look what they did to Atletico Madrid, right? Yeah. But for me, we can go on about showing heart and showing passion, but that's just one small part of the moment we live in. For me,
can I-
it's got to be
It's a big
bigger
part for
picture.
me. Of course it is. There's
Dan,
always more. There's always more to it. Yeah, I know that, but I'm just talking about the bit I've got an issue with. Whereas other people won't care about that bit and want to see more skill.
What would
Other
happen?
people
What
want
would
to see
happen
more
then?
on the other side.
Like just a theoretical question, hypothetical question. Sorry. What would happen if Frank, say for example, tonight goes attacking? Right. We show a lot of fight. We show more fight, but then we lose 7-0.
Do you know what? The fact
Then
that when I say
what can? But just to say, right?
Let me answer the question, Dan.
No.
I
I will. But
we've lost 4 games of football this year, and 2 were against the top 2.
yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like we're going well over the top again about everything.
Think people are. I'm not Frank out, not at all. I have my one big question with him. That is mine. The rest of it, I'm like, I know he hasn't got the quality there. I'm saying we need to wait until summer, basically, before. Yeah. I mean, January is a hit and hope. We all know that's one of probably the hardest way to do it.
Right.
But my question, like, I think we will get some sort of answers to a lot of questions by the end of the summer transfer window on whether the club means business basically now and how serious Frank is basically. And up until then,
Frank, though, is it? I keep hearing this. What does that mean? We've seen the caliber of player Frank wanted. Surely this is now about the club. They've got to get those players for him.
Yeah.
I keep seeing this. We're going to find out if Frank's a yes man. Frank told you in the summer. He said Lang. He said they're not aligned with me. They're not giving me the quality I need. Right? He
clearly wanted Simmons. He wanted Simmons. He clearly said that.
Hang on, but not as first choice. He didn't. No, he went after Morgan Gibbs-White, Eze, Savio, Rogers, and then when none of those worked, we then got Simmons,
I get that,
and then Mawani on loan. So I think we've got
to get the Mawani one with Simmons.
Reinvent history here. We can't do that.
But what have we always asked? What have we always asked Spurs or a manager or a scout to do? Not just focus on one, but at least have a bloody list, because if that one don't go right, you got to go for that one. If that don't go right, you've got to have your list there. Or you go out there with all the money to pay the wages, pay the player, pay for the player, everything, make sure the player wants to go to you and go heart and soul for it. But then that's what a lot of people complained about with Ange when he was going for what's his name all season and didn't look at anybody else.
Gallagher,
yeah. Because he didn't have a plan B, C, or D with it of players that he wanted to go for. Simmons was under his list of players that he wanted.
That's not the
Simmons
same.
Was on his list of what he wanted to go for. Moane, that just happened because it was there, basically. Yeah.
But that's not the same, Dan. That's not the same, because we never bid for Conor Gallagher. He wanted Gallagher, but we were told, we're not going to get him. We bid for Rogers. We bid for Eze. We bid for Morgan Gibbs-White. We were in talks with those players, and it was only when we didn't get those players. By the way, I like Xavi Simmons, so this isn't me going, "Oh my god, I can't believe you got Simmons." But it was only we got him at the end because those other players didn't want to come, and his Chelsea deal didn't happen, that we went there. So when people keep saying we'll see if he's a yes man or not, you've got to remember every manager is a yes man, if you like, because
to an extent, it's their job.
Sure. But we know he's showed us what he wants. He's showed us is it everything I just said there about technical ability and physicality. Is it any wonder the players that he wanted? When you look at Eze, Gibbs-White, Morgan Rogers, right?
Physicality is slacking in this team in a big way.
Look at the stature of those footballers as men, right? But what we ended up with was, and I like Simmons, but again, Simmons lightweight. Mawani for me is lightweight, right? We ended up again with players that the other clubs don't go and get. You look at Chelsea, even the 2 Chelsea went and got, right? I don't even know how good this boy will be. I'm not going to sit here and wax lyrical about him, but look at Delap, powerful, right? Powerful footballer. Not saying he's the greatest. I think he'll develop into a good striker, but powerful. Yao Pedro, right? He's a big specimen. He's a powerful footballer. You look at what we bring in. We did it with Kudus. That was great. We did it with Paulinho. But then the next 2 we went and got, it was all a bit weak and a bit feeble. And by the way, can I just say this? Sorry, but Marios, this is what makes me laugh, right? He should be better than 9th with this team. Well, first and foremost, can we, again, this is where you got to slow down, right? First and foremost,
we're not that far
and it
behind.
should be better than 9th, right? A win against Fulham, who knows? You're now top 4 again, right? So this whole should be better than 9th thing. Second of all, what do you mean with this team? He's got Tell and Odebert and Richarlison, right? And Brennan Johnson and Star and Bergvall. What is it with these players, Marius, that you're looking at and saying we should be better than?
Do you know, I'm surprised you haven't. I'm surprised you haven't done this yet. But what you should do for people to visibly see, right, is actually click on those teams and look at their midfielders and look at their strikers. So Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Villa, Palace, and you could even say Man United, Liverpool, who are even below us right now, right? And they're the teams that we're supposed to be competing with, right? Because Palace, I don't think will stay. They might finish mid-table, maybe 7th position, that sort of thing. I don't think they'll get like anything higher than 7th, to be honest. But if you look at those teams, look at their midfielders and look at their strikers. They're so much better than ours, like by a mile. By a mile.
But Dan, if I bring that table up again, right? Let's have a look at this, right? So forget Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City. There's no point trying to compare to them. Forget them, right? Pointless. I look at Villa. Look at Villa's bunch of midfielders. McGinn, Kamara, Tielemans, Onana, right? Look at them straight away and I go, I'd take all 4 of them in the Spurs squad. All 4 of them. No questions asked. All 4 of them above Bentancur, Star, Gray, and Bergvall. All 4 of them. I then look at Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins. I know he's not in form right now, but he has been a prolific goal scorer for the last 5-6 years in the Premier League, right?
Yep.
I look at Morgan Rogers, power, goals, assists, right? Even Buendia. Look at little Buendia, prodding and probing, and right? I then look at, they're bringing off the bench. The other day, they brought off the bench Donny Marlon and someone else. Can't remember, another winger. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't even think Donny Marlon's that great. But you know what they were when they came on, Danny? They were physical. They were quick. They were powerful. They drove forward like men. Now you look at Crystal Palace. They've even got an Adam Wharton in midfield dictating, making things happen. Right? They've got a striker who can hold the ball up in a Mateta. They've got Yeremy Pino, who's better than most of our wingers. Brighton. Now, Brighton, I don't think will stay there. Brighton always do this, by the way. Brighton always start up there and everyone goes, this is the year they're going to get...
and then level it up, basically.
And then they level down.
Brighton are one of the most inconsistent teams in the league. They've won in the last, I think, couple of 100 games. They've won 80, lost 80, and drawn 80. So it's quite a nuts statistic.
It is. But then Sunderland, Bournemouth, they won't finish there because, again, they will level out because cream rises to the top. Then you look at Spurs and Man United, right? Look at Spurs and Man United. Look how both of our squads have fallen drastically, right? There's no, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not coincidence that Spurs and Man United were both very low down the table last year and are both sitting mid-table at the moment. There's no coincidence. Those two clubs are not what they were, right?
Yep.
Man United don't have don't really have a midfield. Spurs don't really have a midfield, right? Man United aren't great at the back, but they're good. They're decent up front. Spurs are decent at the back, not good up front. The problem is, if we want to be a good team, forget the fight and that. I agree with what Dan's saying in the main. I do agree with what he's saying in the main. If Spurs fans are going to say things like, bearing in mind when you're sitting 3 points off top 4 saying, oh, we should be better than 9th. Isn't it funny? When we were 4th and I said we're 4th, people are going to me, yeah, but the league, but we're only 3 points off mid-table. Doesn't that work the other way as well?
It works both ways, that one.
It works
Same
both
as most things. It's got to work both ways.
Savva,
it always has to work both ways.
We need better footballers.
Can you bring up that table for a second? The Premier League table again, right? Right, can you just scroll down to the second half of it? To the bottom half of the table, Right now, look, right. So you've got the champions is sitting in 12th. You've got Newcastle in 14th, right? Those two teams alone have got better squads than we have, and they're below us right now. And people forget that Liverpool, they have got like world-class players in their squad. They just haven't really found their kind of rhythm this season yet. And this is the thing. It's like eh, what Frank is doing, in my opinion, right, with what he's got is I'm surprised he's doing this well. To be honest, I didn't expect us to do this well, and I didn't expect us to play good football either, because we haven't got players to play good football. So that's why, like with me, with Frank, I'm interested to see. It's like we have to see. It's kind of there's two things we're looking out for now in the next couple of windows. Number one, if we're gonna keep going for if well, the first thing is the club. If the club are going to actually sign the players that the manager wants, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing is whether or not once he's got those players, then we can see what he can really do. And until then we won't know, because there's two factors here. And one of them is a factor that we don't know about, is because we haven't got this management, this new management structure that we have now in place. So we don't know if it's going to be the same old Spurs or
Danny, don't you think Perchie made a good point? Like Perchie turned around and said, wouldn't it be nice just for once to see a manager that's given enough time to actually develop their own 11, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That you can turn around and say, well, this is your 11, right? This is now your 11. You've got no excuses. Eddie Howe now, right? If you look at Eddie Howe over the last few years, this is Eddie Howe's 11. I think Joe Linton was there. I think Shah was there.
Well, he changed Joe Linton into a midfielder.
And yeah, but he had Joe Linton, Shah, and maybe Murphy. The other players, you look, the Barnes, the Gordons, the Tenalis, the Gomares, the Dan Burns, this is now his team. Aston Villa are slowly but surely moving towards that as well, right? They're slowly moving towards the players that Unai Emery has brought in. We're going to do this thing again where a manager doesn't even get their own team, and we're just going to go, it's shit. Now, something just quickly, Danny. Sorry, just quickly, right? Go. This summed it up for me. Like, Maris, it's not about me raising my standards. It's not about me raising my standards. The club need to raise their standards, right? Let me tell you something. This is a great point, right? We have gone, you think, guys, the team Jose had and the team Conte had, I think we all agree they didn't have good midfields, right? I think they both had midfields of like Højbjerg, Ndombele, Winks, Skips, Sissoko, right? We agree with that, yeah?
Yeah. Shocking defence as well.
Sure, shocking defence as well. But none of them had a good midfield. But you know what both of those managers had in front of their midfield?
Yeah.
It was Son, Kane, and then obviously Conte for a little, Jose for a little bit had Bale, and then Conte had Kulu when he first came in.
Yep.
The levels are huge. And I keep saying this. If Spurs right now, even playing this shit football, right now, with this 11, if you swap the front three and put Kane and Son in there alongside Kudus, Tottenham right now would be sitting comfortably in the top four, scoring loads of goals, because those two would paper over all the cracks. And no one would be moaning about it. These guys, right? These guys had that. They didn't have great midfields, like we don't have a great midfield now, but they had that, right? We now have Odegaard, Richarlison, Johnson. This is we are. So when people, kids like Marios, who have supported the club for about 4 years, when I've got people like that telling me, raise my standards, raise the fucking standards on the pitch. Raise this, give me 3 forwards. I'm watching Newcastle, right? I'm watching Gordon. Sorry, I'm watching Barnes, Murphy, and Voldemard, right? And I'm going, how is this 3? Not saying they're all great. I'm going, how is this 3 better than our 3? Better than what we've assembled up top? That is embarrassing. And then you've got people like Marios going, shouldn't be 9th. We should be winning all these games. Who's scoring the goals? Where are the goals coming from? It's
Exactly
just absolutely mental.
Look, basically, what it comes down to is I don't think that Frank's doing a particularly good job. I don't think he's doing a particularly bad job. I think we've looked absolutely shocking this season. I think we've actually looked worse this season under Frank at times than we ever did under Ange. And that's with that Chelsea-Arsenal game. Whereas other games, I've seen us look significant. I've seen, I can't think of a game where we put less heart and soul in than that Chelsea-Arsenal game under Ange.
No.
But under Frank, I've also seen us
conceded 4 at Liverpool, 5 at
better.
Liverpool, 6 against Liverpool, 3 against Arsenal. We're 3-0 down at home to Arsenal. What do you mean?
But that Arsenal game, I think under Ange, the team looked like they at least put more effort in. I'm just struggling with these two. But let me finish.
Ipswich at home,
but
Leicester City at home.
I think I've seen us be significantly better as well. Overall, I think he's done an okay job.
I agree with that.
And what can you expect when you've got majority of the time okay players, basically? Bar, like we say, we don't even know our 11. We've basically got 6 who walk onto that team, and then the others we don't know, maybe 7. So at the moment, he's doing an okay job. The thing I just want to see from the manager, whereas a lot of people want different things, and everyone's going to want different things, yeah? And I just want to see him be able to get those players on that pitch and at least put effort into a game. And for me, when you're getting basically just going on there and accepting defeat before you even play in the London derby, to me, that is on the players and that's also on the manager. When we're also going out and getting absolutely torn apart and lucky that we don't get beaten 5-0 in games like Monaco and what was the other European one where we was actually quite lucky they couldn't bloody do it. The ones we done last year.
Bodo
Glimt. We was lucky we didn't lose that as well. This is what I mean by I've seen us play better. And okay, I say worse, I've seen us play just as bad as we did under Ange. And it's going to take time. I think he's doing an okay job at the moment. It's going to take him time. But my main issue is, can he get players hyped up for games and get stuck into a game? Because if you can't do it for a Chelsea or Arsenal game, then I'm struggling. Then I go back to look at last season, and people say, why bring up Ange all the time? Well, if you want to compare this manager and how he's doing, sadly, you're going to have to look at Ange for the whole season. When it goes on to next season, then we can sit back and compare to what Thomas Frank has done this season when it goes to the next season. So then I'll start asking questions. I didn't rate Ange as a manager. I thought he was absolutely terrible. But then I start asking questions. Was it as much Ange's fault that he couldn't get players hyped up for games? Because we all said there were certain games that just looked like the players didn't want to play for it.
So was it?
Was it also, I'm just saying, was it also down to the players a bit more than we realised as well, that they just ain't got the mentality that some people they thought?
On this hyping up for a game. The problem with Ange was not for me about hyping players up. The problem with Ange was that he set us so wide open and that didn't change over 2 years. And I'll say the same.
We all questioned at times that players looked like they didn't even care for the game or the manager. So I'm not saying giving him an excuse. I'm saying were the players more of a problem than we actually realised under Ange.
Not when you play on the halfway line with a back 2. But the same goes.
Not when you play with 11 behind the bloody ball either. Same goes for him.
If you let me finish a sentence, right? But that's my point. Is as Frank gets his own players in, we will see that evolve. Well, as Frank gets some attacking players back fit, creative players. Right now, if we were playing with Kulusevski and Maddison in this team, I don't think we look like this. If we're playing with Kulu and Maddison, we don't look this lackluster. If we were playing with a proper centre forward, we don't look this lackluster.
That is our main problem.
Let him evolve. Give him some windows. Let him evolve. But Dan, I am of the opinion, as I said, I don't care. Thomas Frank, when he leaves this football club, Dan, will get paid millions of pounds, right? And we wave him on his way and go on, son, go and get your money. My point is this. This has always been my point. Whether it's Thomas Frank now, or it's Glasner, or De Zerbi, or Iriola, whoever is there now, if we forget about 2 or 3 games, if we forget about the snapshot, that person needs some time. That
Yeah.
person is going to need more than one window where we were scrambling about in the last week to get things done. They need a proper plan put in place. Got to remember, and this is I hope he's not watching because Lubo will say, "Oh, you agreed with me." Lubo made a good point. You've got to remember, Thomas Frank comes in mid-June, right? So now you've got a completely different transfer window you've got to look at, because now Thomas Frank's going, I want this player, that player. Lang and that weren't aligned with him. He came out and said that. But Dan, you know what? In January and the summer, they haven't got that excuse. They've been working together. They should be aligned.
Also,
you know what,
Sav,
I'll say this. Let me just round off this, Danny, and then I'll let you finish and we'll wrap up the show. I am not wedded to a manager, right? I said this the other day. If we get towards the end of this season, and he's had a couple of good players in the January window, and Kulu and Madison are back, and Spurs are still looking absolutely toothless, and we're not up for games, and we're finishing bottom half of the table, Dan, you know me well enough. I'll turn around and go, cool. But you know what? After 4 months, I can't turn around and go, yeah, let's sack this off and get the next person in and start again. It's just too soon. So
that is what I mean by far left and far right. It's either you're in or out. But it also seems that you're not allowed to ask questions. And
people can ask questions.
I've only got one main question, and it's the one that I've repeated all the time. It's the mentality side of it. Yeah. Whereas on the pitch, I understand that I've seen Frank do some good things on the pitch. I think he's made some terrible mistakes on the pitch. This is what I mean. I've seen both sides, and I think in the middle, I think he's been in the middle overall. He's done all right, and we're only 3 points off the top 4. What more can you really ask for with a club with this lack of caliber, basically, with this lack of team? But again, people will ask questions, but you will always get the other people that are just far left or far right. They will fight Ange into the corner, whatever, even if we go and lose 50 games in a bloody season.
And do you know what, Dan?
They will be Ange out, or they will be Frank out, even if we only lose 10 games over a season. You're going to have that with this manager. He had that problem on his back from the start, because there was still a lot of people who wanted Ange in. There was a hell of a lot of people who didn't want Frank in because he hasn't got the Spurs mentality. And I'd say it works 3 ways with Frank. You had the third that didn't want him, the third that wanted Ange basically still, and you had the third. You got the other ones that are like, yes, we want him. The third that didn't want him is down to he's never won nothing. He's never managed a big club. Don't like his style of play at Spurs. It's not the Tottenham way. Not that there is a Tottenham way as far as I'm concerned. People just think of the best football we've ever played and think it's the Spurs way. Sorry, I wasn't alive just after World War II or whatever it was. You know what I mean? I didn't get to see that shit. So we're just going to have to sit back and wait. But at the moment, we can only judge by games. That is all we can do at the moment.
We can judge by games, right? But the other thing as well that people keep forgetting. You know, you just said, Dan, that fans are either one way or the other. And in my opinion, I believe though that the fans that are like that is because they look at the moment. They don't look at the overall picture, right? They look at what's happening right now. They don't look at what's happened in the past or in the last 6 months. They don't look at what changes we've gone through, and they're not looking forward either. They're just looking at right now. I don't feel great watching my club because we're not playing well. That's exactly why the fans are overreactive in their way that they discuss the manager, because they can't see anything else, because they don't want to see anything else, right? That's a massive, massive, massive issue with modern fans today, right? And the other thing I was going to say is that that for me personally, I think Frank is overachieving right now with with the squad, right? I think the fact that Richarlison is one of the top strikers in the league statistically tells me everything why I believe Frank is overachieving. How he's managed to get Richarlison to 5 goals and 2 assists as a striker is ridiculous in 12 games or 10 games, whatever it is. And the other thing as well is what I'm going to judge Frank the most on, but not just him, the club, is when Frank says that player is not in my plans, get him gone, right? Great. If the club decide not to listen to the manager and not get rid of the shit, because I personally think The way I look at Frank is he is not scared to get rid of players who are not listening to him. He will get them gone. Basuma's one of them, right? Anyone who doesn't listen to what he wants, right? He will. I don't think he's scared to get rid of them. And I think there's a lot of players in that squad right now, right? The reason, my personal opinion, the reason why we are playing the way we are playing and some of the players are not doing, maybe giving their all, is because I think some of them know they're on borrowed time. I think some of them already know they are not good enough, right, at this club. And I think deep down, they know they're going to be sold, or the club are going to try and get rid of them because the manager doesn't trust them and the manager doesn't want them at the club. So how can a manager, right? How can a manager in modern football today, how can a manager motivate players who have this feeling, in my opinion, that maybe they're on borrowed time because the manager doesn't trust them, because they know they're not good enough and they don't want to admit the truth, right? That's the truth. That's my opinion. And I think that's why I believe we're not playing to the levels that we need to, because we need to get rid of a lot of the shit and let Frank bring in his players who are going to play for him and play for the badge, and most importantly. And if the players can't play for the badge, right, that's on the player, not the manager, right? The player should, when they put on that shirt, right, they play for that badge, not for their paycheck.
But Dan, it's the manager's job to also get and play for that badge as well. Well, that's got to go two ways, that bit.
Not
the manager has got a job. It doesn't matter if the players are shit. I said that.
No,
it's still down to the manager to get the mentality into them as well.
But
no, some of them don't. But he's got to work both ways. Manager has to take some accountability for it as well. But I'm not saying it's his fault.
I'm gonna wrap up. Look, I disagree with Danny on one bit. I don't think he is overachieving. I think we are about what I thought we would be doing. I thought we'd win some, we'd lose some, we'd draw some. Listen, I've said this from the beginning. You all know I have. I think this is going to be lots of ups, lots of downs. There's going to be times where we have to go, shit, this is horrible. There's going to be times where we go, I didn't expect that. That was really good. And that's what it's like when you start something. But all I'm saying is, and I'll make this very clear for anyone that then goes to lie about me in other channels, this isn't about dying on a hill, Thomas Frank. This is about Tottenham as a club. And this is where Danny is spot on, right? When we are looking, yeah? Well, if you're saying, how did you watch this for an hour insufferable? See you later. You're blocked. There you go. You don't have to ever watch again. Bye. Right. For me, that where Danny is spot on, and I will round off with this, guys. Right, where Danny is spot on is, if we take the snapshot of right now, we can all say not really enjoying it. But if we're actually going to look and say what's happened for the last 5, 6, 7 years at this club, what have we built? What have we put together? What has been the mentality of the board? What has been the mentality of the directors of football? What has been the mentality of the players we've bought? What's the quality level of the players we've bought? What are we looking to move towards? Yep. If fans can't look at the before and the after, then we'll get what we deserve, because we'll just keep sacking people early, and we will do this again and again and again. Right? Yep. I get it. In the moment, we're all angry. I get it. The YouTubers immediately after are angry and get out. I think you've got to take a little step back and go, well, how do you build to move forward? Yes, the football's not great right now, but what will the football look like if he had got Savio, Rogers and Gibbs-White, just for example? What would the football look like if he goes and buys an Ivan Toney and a Lookman? I don't know. For me, you have to adapt with what you've got, of course. I agree with Danny when he says that, of course. But there's a limit as well to the ability of a lot of these players.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that.
Hang on. There's an ability level to most of these players, right? So when we're going, oh, we're 9th. Last year we were 17th, right? This year we're 9th at the moment. We could be 4th at the weekend. Who knows, right? For me, let's have a year where we don't worry about, are we finishing 3rd, 4th, 5th? Let's have a year where we build, grow, stabilize, and then next year go, right, what's the plan as a football club now? We've stabilized. What is the plan? Now, again, I'll say this for the people in the chat that don't listen. I'm not saying Thomas Frank is the right man forever and ever and ever. He might be here for a year. He moves on. We build with someone else. He might be here for 2 years, and then we go for a top manager. Right now, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of stability. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of calm, right? But when we've got people to say things like Brentford mentality, look at the squad we've built. We actually, if we're going to talk about the manager having a Brentford mentality, then we've got to have a top 4 mentality in a transfer window. Go and buy top mentality players if you want the manager to feel that way. So for me, I just think everything's got to calm down. I'm of that age now where I've seen everything as a Spurs fan. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And the problem is, guys, we can have a go at the manager. We can knock the performances. There's nothing wrong with that. But if after every time we lose a game, half the fan base is going to start going manager out, manager out, manager out, that's going to happen with the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. Before you know it, guys, we're all sitting here. It's 2030, right? We're 5 years down the line from now. We've had another 5 managers. We've got poor players still. And we're all sitting there going, why has none of this worked? Right? But, and again, this person saying, you talk about being calm, Arsenal about to win the league. But that's got nothing to do with us. If we're brutally honest, Arsenal were calm. Think about what you've said. Arsenal were calm. When they were shit, finishing 8th, 5th, their board were calm. Their board stuck by the manager that the fan base didn't want. Now, 6 years later, they are the best team in the country by a country mile, right? Them winning the league, unfortunately, it's horrible because they're going to be, because they're our rivals. But that's not, you can't take one situation over here and go, well, that should mean we're better. They're going to win the league probably because they've bought fucking brilliantly.
Yeah.
We're where we are in the league because we've bought atrociously for 6, 7, 8 years.
Yep.
Can we just relax? We just gotta relax just a little bit.
Savva, the last
Don't
thing
lose your mind when we lose tonight to PSG. If we do,
Yeah.
you know we're gonna lose most
The
likely.
The last thing I'd say as well is that for me, the one thing that which is why I said there's a lot of hope in the future of this football club, is just the fact that I saw something in the summer that I'd never seen happen at this club. The first thing was obviously Daniel Levy leaving, right? But the second thing is the fact that the players that we actually went for and actually tried to get were all top caliber players, right? And we were just unfortunate in some of the situations that better clubs got the players that we wanted. Or, for example, Morgan Gibbs-White deal, the way that didn't happen. Now, if we go for those type of players again, right? Say you go and bring another 3 or 4 players in the summer, right? Say you go and get Ruben Neves and a left winger this summer, right? This January, just for example. Then in the summer you go and get a left wing back, right? A fullback, sorry. Then you go and get another central midfielder, another ball playing midfielder. Then you get a striker, right? It's another 3 players. That's 5 players in 2 windows. But each one of those players is quality. That they are ready made for the Premier League, ready made at a level where you can go in and they're going to go straight into that team. Now you're looking at a first 11 that's a lot more competitive, right? Then you can start to give a little bit more judgment on how Frank can manage it. Because if he's still playing that kind of football when he's got a lot better quality, right?
Agreed.
Then I want him out of the club. And that's just as it is. But I think there's a lot to look forward to, and I think people just need to just chill out a minute.
Look, I'm gonna wrap up. Look, I think, look, let's be fair, Danny and Dan. Whatever happens tonight, whatever team he picks, everyone will complain. It doesn't matter. Yep. Whatever team he picks, whatever 11, whatever formation, people are going to complain. For me, I think we just strap on our big boy and big girl pants, get through to January, and show us Tottenham. Show us that you mean business. Give the manager what he needs. And Danny is right. If he then gets those better players, this is what we see. I'll be the first one at the front of the queue saying, sorry, mate, you've had your chance. You've got the players. Right now, with the crap players I'm watching him have, I'm not going to be on his back. Look, guys, girls, what I am finding funny, and I will end on this, I'm going to do some super chats, is so many of the people that told me Ange needs 3 to 5 years are the same ones giving giving Frank 12 games. And dude, stop this. Frank can't manage big players. What big players has he got? Sorry, what are you talking about? Everyone told me that Ivan Toney couldn't be managed. Didn't he manage Ivan Toney? Didn't he manage Mbuemo? Ollie Watkins? Didn't he manage Damsgaard and Eriksson? Norgard? What? Listen, super chats. Big up to D&B forever with a super sticker. Really appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. He's always very generous to me. So thank you indeed. Big up to my man Blaine, who said PSG 1, Spurs 3 tonight. It's happening. Bet the house. I'm definitely not going to bet my house on Spurs winning 3-1. Probably more likely the other way round. Big up to you, Blaine. Big up to another failed upload who said, what is wrong with you lot? Frank has to work with his hands tied behind his back. He has to work with bellends like Johnson, Richie, Dom, Tell, Oliver.
I agree with that. Bellends, that's a great one.
I don't think it's just about those players, though. I don't think some of the other players that are being really hyped up and have done for years are as good as we think. Oh, Udogie gets hyped up for years. I've never really watched him and gone, you're amazing. Same with Porro. Same with Basuma and Bentancur, and there's so many we can add into there. But big up to you. Big up to Ryan. Thank you very much. He became a member again. Big up to you, my man. He said, Savva, we can't please any of the fan base anymore. It's sad to see this. Mate, it's going to be like this. Whichever manager comes in, I'm telling you. If Glasner comes in, all the same ones that want him, as soon as he hits a bad spell, we're going to say, can do it at Palace. We're Spurs. We're bigger. He can't do it. I'm telling you, mate. Big up to you, Ryan. Coming again and said, oh, no, sorry. Jordan came in very generous to me. Always this guy. Thank you. Said, until we start holding players accountable, just as much as managers, nothing will change. Players are totally unaccountable at this club, which is why someone like Richie Harlison has lasted 4 years. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Managers need to be held accountable, but the players, these average footballers, keep getting a pass for not being able to pass a football 5 yards, for not being able to hold up a ball. Then I see people saying the reason we can't control a ball is they don't practice that in training. I'm like, what? It's just absolutely mental. Big up to Geordie. He's coming again and said Winks and Skip played in Leicester's midfield last night that lost 3-0 to Southampton. And now our fans are doing the same with Bergvall and Gray, talking them up like they are saviours. Jordan, this is the problem. When Winks and Skip were here, and I was saying, sorry, not just me, I'm sure Dan and Danny were as well, saying, we need better. You had all those fans going, it's the manager, he can't get the best out of them. Now, 3 years on, they're both in the Championship playing for a mid-table Leicester City team. Listen, there's a reason why top players play at top clubs and why we buy what we buy. Big up to you, Jordan. And also, just want to say big up to Smoky Boy, who bought me a coffee. Thank you very much. I can't see what it says. It's not loading here, can it? He said, get in, Savva, as always. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate you. I'm going to send you all over to, let's see who's live. Don't know if anyone is live, but we'll have a look. Come on, why is this not working? Oh, there we go. Customization, redirect. Here we go. I'm going to send you over to, I can't see any Spurs channels live. I'll send you over to Never a Foul. If you want to go with them, just say Savva Raid or FHTV Raid. Much love, guys. I won't be here tonight. Susie and Perchy are going to be running the watch along for me. I've got to go and put my tuxedo on and go to an awards event. Nothing to do with football. So I won't be able to watch Spurs tonight. I won't be watching the game. I'll record it. Danny, thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Danny K, thanks very much. Much love as always, my man. Take care, guys. Much love. And please remember, guys, it is football. And maybe, just maybe, not every time we lose a game has to be manager out. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.